If you're like me, you wear out a fair number of drill bits in the shop and you set them aside with the intent to sharpen them someday when you got a little bit of extra time. And before you know it, you've got 3 or 4 of the same size drill bit waiting to be sharpened, and that happens in lots of different sizes. I'm John Switzer, and you're watching Black Bear Forge. Now, a little while back, I was talking about a set of drill bits somebody had sent me for a review, and I'd commented that they were split point drill bits, and I wasn't sure how you resharpened a split point drill bit. Regular twist drills, no problem, I resharpen those. It's not a big deal. Sooner or later, I get around to sharpening all these, but I'm not really that great at it. They're better than they were, but they're never as good as they were new, and I wasn't real sure what to do about split points. Several of you commented on that video that the company Drill Doctor made a drill bit sharpener that would do the split point drill bits as well as regular twist drills. So I contacted Drill Doctor and asked them if they'd like me to present their product and take a look at it and share that with you, and they were all for that. So they sent one of the Drill Doctors out, as well as some other stuff that we'll look at in another video. So today I'm going to open that up, figure out how to use it, and you will see my first impressions and the very first drill bit that I ever sharpened with the new Drill Doctor. And what the folks over at Drill Doctor sent for us to take a look at is the Drill Doctor 750X, which I believe is their top of the line unit. They make some more homeowner related versions of this, but this is the one we're going to take a look at today, and I think it's going to be a pretty good unit based on the stuff I find online and all the recommendations from some of you viewers out there. So let's take a look and see what's in the box here. Looks like it comes with its own little carrying case there. May never put it in the carrying case. Instructions, those are always handy if you can't figure out how it works. Looks like we have a little wrench. There is the unit itself. And a holder for the drill bits. It has a diamond-coated grinding wheel down in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little diamond wheel. So I'm going to get this set up. I am going to take a quick look at the directions and make sure I don't screw this up, and we will take a look at this, see how it works, sharpen a drill bit. Actually, let's drill a hole with a drill bit and see how bad it is. Then let's sharpen the drill bit and see if this makes a tremendous difference, and I think it probably will. So here's a bit that is in the needs to be sharpened pile. And it's sort of cutting. I'm pulling pretty hard on this to get anything to happen. Not really raising a chip, just kind of grinding off dust there. So that's a pretty bad drill bit. Let's sharpen it. Now there are a couple of different adjustments apparently on this. If you loosen this knob, you can slide this up and down, and there's a little scale right here. You probably can't read it, but heck, I have trouble reading it. But I got new glasses ordered, so hopefully it'll be better in a week. Anyways, so I'm going to set that for 118 because most of my bits are 118 degree bits. And this piece goes in here to set the drill bit up for sharpening, and it has specific places where you insert that. It's got a little index point here, and this is toothed on the inside here so that you can get that at the 118 mark so that you can set the bit properly for a 118 degree bit. So we insert our bit into here. This is very much just like a drill chuck. I'm going to have to look in the specs and see what the largest bit this will sharpen is. Clearly it's bigger than the one I've got here. So that holds the bit for sharpening, and we use this whole thing here then to set how much drill there is sticking out. You see that in there. And this is adjustable if you want more or less material out depending on how much work you need to do on the drill bit. I think that's unique to this model, but that way your drill bit is sticking out just the right amount so that when you put it in here, it's going to sharpen just the way you want it to. Then when we put this in here, there's this pin, and this has a cam on it that changes the way this fits in here, and that is what will then keep the drill bit at just the right angle. I think you can see that wobble a little bit. So let's turn this on and see what happens. Power switch is in the back. Now, the fact that you can hear this stop cutting makes me think I've ground this in properly in the past, which is always a problem when you're doing them by hand. This should only grind a certain amount off based on how deep you set that bit. When it quits cutting, you should be done. And that is quit cutting, so I think I'm done with that. And what I have is a bit that looks like it's been ground evenly all the way around. And it feels sharp to my fingers. Let's go put that back in the drill press and see what happens with it. So far, that's quite simple to use. And for doing split points, that comes in through this side over here. And I haven't read the instructions for split points yet. But this is not a split point bit, so I'm okay. So same bit, everything else is set up the same. Much bigger chips this time. So that's certainly working better. That is a vast improvement over the way this drill bit was cutting, and a little bit of an improvement over the way they cut when I sharpen them by hand and by eye. But I think I can still overcome that because it has this adjustment here for how much material you're going to take off. I think just backing that off and leaving a little bit more stick out, because I probably did not fully sharpen this bit. I think because it was so worn and in such bad shape, I just need to take another pass at it. And I suspect that will be even a more dramatic improvement on this. So I'm going to mess around with this a little bit more. I'm going to try and sharpen all these drill bits that I've got laying here on the workbench. Then I'm going to meet you right back here and give you my final thoughts on what I think of the Drill Doctor X750 or 750X. Then I'll give you my final thoughts on what I think of the Drill Doctor 750X. Well, I've now done about 12.5 drill bits with this thing, and it took a little over a half an hour, so it's about 2 minutes per drill bit. That's not bad. And I've learned a few things about how this works and what some of the features do and why they are the way they are. For instance, this little notch that you lined up for a 118-degree drill bit didn't make a lot of sense to me at first because it didn't seem like it changed anything that happened in this other area. So let me put another drill bit in here. And this thing says it'll take from 3/30 seconds to 3/4 inch drill bits. I've got a 5/8 bit, the biggest one I've got that needs to be sharpened. And I think it'll be easier to see what's going on with this than it is with a lot of these other things. So when you put this in here, and you push this little clamp here, this little release, I don't know if you can see that or not, but if that's up on the curve of the bit there, it moves. But if you put it on the flat or across the webs so that it doesn't move, that lines up for when you're doing split points. So if you're going to put a split point on this, Getting that right is crucial, otherwise your split point's off in some other direction other than where you want it. So that's what the key is there, and that's why that does what it does. So that's the big setup issue here. And it's got instructions if you're doing different angle of drill bits, what you do, and if you're doing masonry bits, because it'll do masonry bits as well. And I'll go ahead and sharpen this, and then we'll do a split point on it. This was not a split point bit, but it looks like you can just go ahead and add a split point to whatever you want to do. So now if I want to add the split point, I have to come over here to this side port here, and it has a little chip catcher or something in there that helps keep the dust from blowing all over the place, and it does have a little collector tray down here that I've taken off just so we can kind of look inside and see what's going on a little bit better. But this goes in over here, and there are index marks, and that's why it's important to index that properly in that first step, because you push it in, one mark there, 180 degrees, push it in for the next mark, and you're not rotating it during this operation, you're just pushing it in, creating that split point. But you do the regular sharpening first, and then you come back and do the split point. So we'll turn this on, and we'll go ahead and put a split point on there. I think this bottoms out when it gets there. And that gives us our split point on this bit, which didn't have one before, so adding a split point is possible. Got a simple 5/8 high-speed steel drill bit like this, runs about $22 from McMaster Carr. Probably some places you can get them cheaper than that. But if you're getting coated bits or cobalt bits that are this large, these can be $50 drill bits easily. Probably some of them cost more than that. So being able to sharpen them is going to save you a lot of money in the shop. And being able to sharpen them precisely and accurately as quickly as this does is really going to pay off. The reason I had 20 bits laying around that needed to be sharpened is simply because it does get to be kind of a pain to hand sharpen them, and I do screw them up. On this one, I can see little places where this has not fully gotten back down to fresh metal because of some little bobble I had when I was sharpening it by hand, but it's away from the cutting edge, so it's not going to hurt anything. So thank you, Drill Doctor, for sending this out. This is really a very nice tool. I'm going to be glad to have this in my shop. I think an important consideration for tools like this in the shop is that they're readily accessible. Putting this back in the box and putting it on a shelf somewhere where it's not easy to get to or not convenient to access means you're going to wait till you got 20 bits to sharpen before you get it back out again. But if this is out and close to where you're using it, you might use it as soon as that bit starts to get dull, which means it's going to sharpen even faster, and you're going to get a lot more usable life out of your drill bits. And you won't have to set them for as deep a cut as I have here, because these are pretty worn out drill bits. So I'm going to see if I can find a place that this will sit out and be plugged in and ready to go. I might use a little case just as a dust cover to keep it clean, but I don't think I'm going to zip it up in the case and store it somewhere, just because I think having it handy is going to be a real payoff. But like I say, the folks at Drill Doctor, or I should say Drill Doctor/WorkSharp, have sent more than just this, so maybe in a week or two we'll take a look at some of the other stuff they sent. Some great tools. I'm glad to have it. After doing all these bits, I wish I had invested the money in one of these sooner. But Drill Doctor did send this out at no charge. They are not paying me for my opinion. The opinions here are my own. My experience here is my own. All they did was provide the tool without any contractual obligation on what kind of a video I would present, or even if I would do a video on it. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified when I make new videos. Stick around, watch a few of the other videos. Feel free to share the videos with your friends, but then by all means, make time in your day to get out to your shop. Make something, but stay safe. Wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next one. Oh, and the t-shirt with the bear at the camera isn't one I designed. It's whatever this Say Bear Media is, who I'm not even sure if it's still in business, but I found their shirt for sale somewhere, and I like the bear with the video camera, so I bought one.